Hi y'all, it's Laurie from Teacups in the Garden, and I thought I'd show you my new closet system that we developed because this townhouse had very few closets. So my husband got some IKEA units for me. They came in gray. I repainted them white, and then I found this gorgeous wallpaper that's peel and stick, and put that throughout. And I just love it. And I actually have 3 units of this for my daily clothes here, tops and bottoms. And so you can see that here. I have my tops and bottoms for daily wear here. And then in this closet are all the dresses and everything that I need to fix at the sewing machine that needs sewing repairs. They're over here on this side. And on this side are all of my 1950s and 60s dresses that I wear for every day whenever I go out. And I get compliments on them every time. So this closet is going to hold all of my historical clothing that I've taken out of the trunk of storage, and they're ready to hang up. And I thought you'd like to see that. So, see, this is oriented. First off, all of my 18th century cloaks are in here. This is a special garment bag I purchased from Hayden Hill of London, and it has breathable fabric, and even the breathable sides, which I really like. You can take a little peek in them, and they're covered at the top. But because my cloaks are made of 100% wool, all of my 100% wool items are encased in here for protection from moths, which really shouldn't, from what I've read, shouldn't be a big problem as long as you keep your house clean, which I endeavor to do. But my husband wanted me just to make sure, and I think that's smart because it's a big investment of wool, which is expensive in time, so why not? So we're going to start with my wardrobe. To help keep track of everything, I hang everything in sequential order. It just helps me in my mind. This is my Middle Ages costume I made for a homeschool history presentation. And I based it on historical research, and it's all hand sewed, made out of 100% linen. My next batch is my 18th century set, of which I have the most of any era because we'd go to Colonial Williamsburg all the time. And I took sewing classes with the tailors there, learned so much. And so while I have triple that, that's how much I sewed for me, my son, and my daughter. So this is my short gown, which I primarily made to wear to the Burnley and Trowbridge workshops so we could have ourselves fitted in between the hand sewing. Here I have a collection of petticoats, and this one just fell off the hanger. But, I just have a good collection so I can have different colors to wear with the print, such as this one. This is my gown that's based on a print that is in the Colonial Williamsburg collection. And so I have a petticoat for this so it can look very elegant. And I will change the breast knot. Usually when I wear the elegant style, I have a purple breast knot here to pull the purples out of the gown. And that's just personal choice. But other times I might dress it down a little bit. Especially if it was an event like under the red coat during the British occupation, then I would put a different colored breast knot up here to kind of mix things up a bit. And this would just be one of my attires that I could switch out to be more upper class or middling sort, whichever way. And then this is my jacket. I love this fabric, the blues. And blue was never my favorite color, but I think when I found this, blue became one of my new favorite colors. And I like to pair it with this, but I think it'd be really pretty with just a pinky purple silk petticoat just to dress up a little bit. So that's on my sewing list someday. And then this is my silk gown that I'm still in the process of finishing. It's pretty much finished now. It just has some minor touches to do. And I basically purchased this to take to a Burnley and Trowbridge class where I was fitted for this gown. So this is a fitted gown from the Burnley and Trowbridge class. Okay, now we're going to move to the 19th century. And quite frankly, as much as I love the 18th century, I have to say that for mobility and comfort, 19th century is my favorite. It is the most comfortable that I have found while playing to that elegance. Now, this is a petticoat that I made, and all of these are made by hand, 100%. So they didn't have a sewing machine yet. Those items I made by hand. Except for this one. This one is done with a sewing machine, and so it's one of my gowns, and I kind of created the look myself based on some that I saw in the Pride and Prejudice movie with Colin Firth in it. I loved the gowns that the ladies wore, and I just kind of based this on something that I saw in the movie. This gown I sewed completely by hand, and I based it on one from a book called Napoleon and the Empire of Fashion. So it's based on a historic gown, and hand sewn. And sadly, the ribbon is synthetic, so it has smooshed rather permanently. I don't know how to unsmoosh it. That's from being in storage for so long. So I also have the Spencer jacket, military style, that I made based on one in one of the museums, and I really liked it a lot. I used this and this gown to wear for one of our history presentations of the early 19th century that we did in homeschool. Now we're going to go to 1860. And for that, I have a white gown based on one at the Met. The fabric is nearly identical. It's a window pane cotton, 100% cotton. And I used the sash to tie a belt, and it looks very much like one seen, it escapes my mind, but it's a famous painting, just lovely. And here's the inner bodice with the outer bodice. And it's just really fun to do. And I did this for one of our homeschool history presentations. If it's not 18th century, I probably sewed it for a homeschool history presentation. I don't remember, I think I hand sewed this, although historically we had sewing machines by now. But I think everything else from here is machine sewn. And then finishing work was all hand sewn. So I feel so much more control with that, and a lot more comfortable. I'm not a huge fan of the sewing machine, actually, because it just always seems to skip a stitch or something. So for the Gilded Age, right before and after 1900, I found this little jacket, which is really cute, that I just kind of looked at a picture of. It's in an advertisement from 1900 area, 1898, and I just kind of drew something and put it together. I don't really know how I did it, but after I started doing this a lot, it kind of made more sense. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not sure how I would do it, but I did. And this is a faux fur, it's not real. This is a gauzy blouse from about the time, this one is actually probably 1912. I think I got it with some Le Mode Illustré patterns from 1912. And it's a very gauzy batiste fabric that I purchased in Gettysburg at a fabric store up there. And this one, I think I did mostly by hand, maybe some by machine. This one is my petticoat for my Gilded Age skirts. And down at the bottom is a organdy ruffle that really helps to kick out the skirts. This is completely machine sewn. This is my 1920s dress called a robe de steel, and it's very much based on the 18th century gowns. And I have somewhere in one of my boxes around here pocket hoops that I made for the sides, and it's really a lot of fun. I found the pattern for this online, which isn't available anymore. It was a free pattern online. That was a historical one used in the 1920s. It's linked on my blog, so maybe if you do a historical search on it, you might be able to find that. And then this blouse is one done with a wearing history pattern. It's a 1930s blouse, and I thought I'd keep it in case someday I decide to do like a Dorothy of Wizard of Oz jumper, because I have the pattern from wearing history that the jumper looks the same as what Dorothy would have worn, and do a blue gingham. And I just thought that might be fun if I do something for my granddaughter someday. And then we come to the 1940s. Here I have a slip that I made based on a pattern from the 1940s I found for free online. That's also linked on one of my blog posts. And a 1940s dress that I made with probably a Simplicity or McCall's pattern. It's all made of 100% fabric. I have a fun hat that I made with it. I might stumble upon in one of my boxes here. And then I made this little jacket. So I have a series of outfits I made with this fabric. I bought gobs of this. This was a Gertie fabric that was for sale about 10 years ago in the Joann stores. So it's a 1950s print. It has a lovely feel. It's a soft cotton. And so I just made a lot of these and used another wearing history pattern for the 40s and 50s of like beach outfits that you could wear. So here's one. And here are the little romper skirt shorts that goes with it. And then here's just a real cute skirt cover-up. So I thought of doing this in California, and I was in California with my husband last summer, and so July is going to be warm, right? Because it is where I come from in Texas. July is the hottest month of the year. Even here in Virginia, it gets Texas hot. It's been pretty hot the last few days. California is the coldest place I've been that far south, even in Southern California in July. I can't believe it. When I was in San Francisco, I thought it was winter. It was crazy. I had no idea. So I thought it would have been a perfect setting, but I don't know. We'll see when I do a photo shoot with this. And then my kids and I were going to do a sock hop at Chick-fil-A. So I made skirts for my daughter and I. And this is another Gertie fabric I thought was a lot of fun, and made a blouse with it. Turned out the event was canceled. There was a terrible rainstorm that came in. So I haven't worn it anywhere yet, but there it is. There's my 50 skirt. So I have a home for all my things. And let's see. In my boxes, I have like this one. I have these really pretty boxes I bought at Hobby Lobby several years ago. I'd buy more if I could, but they're no longer available. And this just has an assortment of things from the 18th century that I would pack like when I need to grab and go to the historic area. Then this would cover my basket. And here's my cap that I made for myself. I have all kinds of fuzzies in here from feathers. I have some lace that I would wear when I dress up. In this gown, I would dress up and wear this around my neck to protect my neck a little from the sun. I have all of my hat pins in the basket. I have fans that I've been collecting from Colonial Williamsburg. And I have a massive assortment of satin Rogaine ribbons for all the eyelets and to help hold my stockings up. I create my own garters out of these to keep my stockings up. And so these just go up on the top of the shelf. And then I have another basket just like it, and this is where the fuzzies come from. My 19th century feathers in case I ever do the dress up with the ladies at the dance. I don't know if I'll ever do that. And two shawls from the era with the paisley. And sometimes I wear them in the modern time. I did for my elopement with my husband. It went very nicely with my 1950s dress that I have. And so pictures of that are on my blog too. And then, let's see. Here I have a fur muff that I made to go with my fur jacket or cape. And remember, this isn't real fur, it is fake. And then this is a project that I made with the Costume Design Center in Colonial Williamsburg back, I think it was in 2010. They had an anniversary series of sewing workshops. And so this is fabric that they had in their leftover stash that I got to choose from. Loved this sage green color, but these are leftover fabrics from the costumes they would sew for the interpreters, and decorated it in the style of the 18th century. And it has a lovely lining inside, just made of silk. All of this is sewn by hand. And then also in the class, we just designed our own pocket, because so many pockets come in asymmetrical shapes. We were strongly encouraged to design just a real quickie. Don't think about it, don't overthink it, just make it asymmetrical. And so I did. This is the pattern style that I just drafted real quick. And the point was mainly to learn how to sew a pocket by hand, how it goes together. And again, the fabrics were from the leftover stash of sewing costumes for the interpreters. And I really liked this lovely design here. So that's what I did for the class. And then I bought this kit at Colonial Williamsburg that was for sale. This is an 18th century wedding pocket from one of the New England states that a lady sewed for her wedding symbol. So I embroidered this. It was a lot of fun. One of my first sewing projects as a child growing up was learning how to embroider. And though this uses yarn, later I got into crewel because it was so popular back then. So this is using yarn, but we're actually using 18th century stitches, some of which I already knew, some of which were new to me. So it was a lot of fun to put this together. So that just goes up here. And then I have all my hats. This is my fancy hat that I'll wear when I dress up with the purple trim. It's based on one that I just loved that I saw at the milliner shop, but I made it myself. This is a hat that I did with the Costume Design Center. We had a class on hats. This is actually my third version, but yet still based on one that they had in their collection that they would have allowed the interpreters to wear. So this is my silk hat to someday go with my silk gown right here. This is one that I just purchased one day. I left my hats at home, and it was a sweltering hot Texas day in Colonial Williamsburg. And so I just bought one off the rack, and I intend to redecorate it. I haven't decided how yet, but at least I have a hat blank in the process, and it helped protect me from the sun in the time being. This is also one of my hats that I did with the Costume Design Center. Actually, this other one I showed you was inspired by that class. This trim here, the fabric for that hat I got from the class because we were, I think we were taught how to do a covered hat, which that one was, and then just a simple trim. So I used, this is the blue flowers, the Rococo trim is what I got from the class. And I think the green is my own that I found somewhere. But I love this. I've had more compliments on this hat than any other. And it's also, the coloring is very similar to one that they had in their collection. So I want to give them credit for that. I saw it and I knew I had to have one just like it. And then this is one, again, I saw some examples of this in different places, so I wanted one for my own. So this is kind of like my, my winter one, since it's red, and red makes you think of warmth. So I like that. Now I have a really great 1950s hat, but I don't know where it is. Here? Yes, because I ran out of, let me leave the door open so you don't think I closed up shop yet. But yeah, I kind of ran out of room for everything in this closet. This is my 1940s hat that I sewed, that I wear, and the bow's starting to come loose. I'll have to tighten that. But it's what I use to wear with this hat, which is really a lot of fun. And then most recently, I found these black gloves, which looked kind of on the vintage sort. So just with a cute bow, not truly historic, but it could be a lot of fun. So I just kind of keep it in the same box. So next time I can show you my 1950s dresses, perhaps, but that's part of what I've been doing. And meanwhile, my daughter-in-law isn't interested in her own clothing for Colonial Williamsburg. She even asked if she could just wear mine, but I'm taller than she is, so they're not going to fit her quite as well. So I said, let me just make you something for your birthday. So that's going to be my next sewing project. So stay tuned.